Hi again, welcome back to Coding Club. I hope you all have been having fun working on CodeHS. I do want you to continue working on it, but as we do that, I thought we'd take a short detour. You've probably read the title already, so let's get started. In a world which is becoming more connected by the second, hackers are becoming a bigger and bigger risk to our information and safety. With the right tools, some skill, and lots of luck, hackers can break into online bank accounts, encrypt data stored at a research facility and hold it for ransom, and breach the information of thousands of users on a social media platform. Luckily, we have the tools and know-how to protect ourselves from these attacks. The reason we learn how to hack isn't to do all these malicious things I just talked about, but to test and discover vulnerabilities in our computer systems so that malicious hackers don't find them first. First, we need to know exactly what a hacker is. A hacker is an expert who uses their knowledge to gain computer access and privileges they shouldn't have. There are different kinds of hackers as well. Black hat hackers are generally what everyone thinks about when they think of a hacker. These hackers are malicious, meaning they hack to cause destruction or for their own personal gain. White hat hackers are the opposite. Also known as penetration testers, they hack for the purpose of finding vulnerabilities and loopholes and patching systems to make them impenetrable. You may have noticed that I described hackers as experts in my definition. This is because there is another term for people who try to hack but aren't very good at it. Script kiddies generally just use scripts and downloaded tools created by other hackers. Although this technically does make them a hacker, they aren't very effective. All hackers have a variety of tools and techniques available to them. Many of these tools are free and easily accessible to download online. One of the go-to resources that hackers use is Kali Linux. Just like Windows and Mac, Kali is an operating system that already uses many hacking tools and was made to be used by penetration testers. Some of the more popular tools on Kali are Nmap, Metasploit, Wireshark, and Hydra. These ones are generally used to survey computer systems and networks to find and exploit vulnerabilities, as well as password cracking. A computer network is simply just a bunch of computers or servers connected to one another and sharing data with each other. The uses of these hacking tools are quite advanced, and you can do some real damage if you have the knowledge, so we won't go over them in this club. You've hopefully noticed that there's a wide array of factors that need to be protected on computer and software systems. Everything from the way it communicates with other computers, to its password protection, and even websites and games need layers of security. A lot of these tools are open source. A software is open source when its code is free and available to anyone online. Generally, open source projects are developed by members of the community and can be contributed to by anyone. Google Chrome, for example, is not open source as it is developed privately by a company. Another internet browser called Brave, however, is open source, and you can take a look at its code if you want. The most popular site for sharing code and open source projects with other people is GitHub. GitHub has a lot of cool functionalities and resources for students, and we'll take a look at them at the end of this course. Hacking tools are great and all, but the most successful hacks may be a lot less technical than you'd think. Some techniques only involve repeating a certain task thousands of times until the desired outcome is achieved. Examples of this would be DDoS and brute force attacks. DDoS attacks involve multiple devices sending requests to a single server or network. In other words, sending a request to a server is like connecting to it in some way. When you try to log into a website using your password, you are sending a request to that site. Now think of that done thousands of times in just a few seconds. If the attack is successful, the target generally gets clogged up with all the requests and is forced to shut down. Think of it like a traffic jam on a highway. Brute force attacks are used to bypass logins by pretty much just guessing the passwords until it gets the right one. That's it. A computer just cycles through combinations of letters, numbers, and special characters, and depending on the strength of the password, it can take a few minutes or multiple years. Brute force attacks don't seem very effective, but the reason they're so successful is because of the number of people that use weak passwords for important things. In fact, one of the most popular passwords in 2020 is literally password. And that's pretty tame compared to the number one most popular password, which is 123456. Both of them would take hackers less than a second to crack. Many hacks rely on human error. In other words, hackers will try to trick people into willingly downloading malicious software or giving up their personal information. Although there are specific names for each method, they generally all fall into the term social engineering. Social engineering is when a hacker will try to manipulate their target into giving away sensitive information or making a security mistake. One of the most common methods of social engineering is phishing, in which the target is sent an email containing a harmful link or attachment. This email is made to look appealing or official so that it is trusted by the person that receives it. Another form of social engineering is baiting. Baiting usually happens online, when you see an ad that promises something that you know is too good to be true. These ads never live up to their promises. Sometimes while you're browsing online, you'll come across a website or a pop-up that claims your computer has been compromised. These sites will try to bait you into downloading their software or calling a number. Of course, your computer will never tell you that it's infected using the internet, so never buy into what these scams are telling you. Baiting also occurs with physical media. USB drives can be loaded with harmful software which will infect computers as soon as it's plugged in. These drives can be disguised as official company files to fool employees. Generally, all these hacks will try to install some sort of malware onto your computer. Malware is essentially any unwanted software which can potentially be harmful to your data or computer. Many types of malware exist. Viruses, trojans, and worms are some of the most famous. Viruses are designed to infect files on your computer and to do things like steal information, corrupt data, and even shutting down your system. A Trojan horse, or Trojan, is disguised as a trustworthy program on your computer. Once a Trojan is installed, it gives hackers almost complete access to your system. Worms are a lot like viruses, but they were designed to replicate quickly to infect other computers on the same network as well. Other forms of malware are ransomware, adware, and spyware. Once ransomware takes hold on a computer, it encrypts all the data and files on it. These files will only be decrypted if the victims pay a ransom. Adware focuses on bombarding its targets with ads and pop-ups, and spyware allows the hacker to see any activity being done on a computer, including any keys that are pressed. With all this harmful stuff online, how can you protect yourself? To start, it's always good to have an antivirus and firewall up and running. Windows computers already have these built in and automatically on. You should always update your computer or any software as soon as possible. Oftentimes, these updates include important security patches, which can help protect you. Always use secure passwords for your accounts. Passwords should never be plain words or names. Try to make your passwords long, at least 10 digits, and try to include a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Don't just replace letters with easy-to-guess substitutions. This password is as easy to crack as this password for a hacker. A good method for making hard-to-crack, easy-to-remember passwords is by thinking of a random phrase. Take the first 2 letters of every word in that phrase and make that your password. There are many free password managers available online to help you remember your passwords as well, and you should use 2-factor authentication whenever you can. Finally, the greatest tool you have is knowledge. Do not click anything suspicious. Usually, when you hover over a link, it shows you its address in the bottom left of the screen. Use this to know exactly where you're going. You can use services like VPNs to give yourself more privacy online, and ad blocks to reduce the amount of ads you see. Finally, if you don't trust a service completely, do not do anything it says. You should continue working on CodeHS for now, but before you do that, I have a few games I want you to try. You'll be assuming the role of a computer security specialist, and you're in charge of protecting your company. The games are choice-based, so you have to make choices which will affect the story and its ending. The links to the games are in the description. Good luck, and in the meantime, happy coding.